There is mastery in authenticity, right? Because like you just said, I'm not this guy moving into a new town just trying to like start a business and make money, make quick money.
Yeah.
You know what? People want nothing more than authenticity.
Welcome to the Bringing Up Business podcast, where we talk about business and parenting. I'm your host, Kaila Sachse, toddler mom and owner of a marketing and creative agency called Umari Digital. Umari Digital is on a mission to help small businesses grow with effective websites, marketing, and branding. I'm excited to chat with today's guest, Micah Elliott, also known as Mr. Magenta. Micah is the creator of Blackwater Market Comics and Coffee, an online comics and coffee shop where comics, caffeine, and creativity collide. All of the good things.
All of them.
Whether he's curating back issues or cooking up creative projects, Micah is always finding new ways to tell stories, build connections, and celebrate the geeky things we love. Micah, I'm excited to dive into your story and welcome to the show.
Kaila, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah. I've been so excited for our chat. We just jive on this level that is so much fun. And so I'm just excited to catch up with you and talk about your story. So
These days there's just no room for anything else other than just making as much fun as possible.
I feel like, life is so short. We might as well enjoy it as much as we can and live it the way that we want to live it. So I think that's something that where you and I really resonate together.
For sure. It's so weird that it's the next thing you know is you're doing production design for the next 25 years, just trying to build a comic book shop. I didn't even realize, as much as I've been reading comics for nearly my whole life since second grade, that I wanted to make a comic book shop until COVID hit and I was tired of my 25-year career.
I can't even imagine like what it was like to make that switch from 25-year career to having your own gig going on. So like how was that transition? What inspired that? Because at that point you were already a dad. You were established, I would say, in your career. So to make a jump like that is huge. I mean, what prompted that?
Yeah, BWM Comics was pretty much the last thing to take effect. The local music career growing up in the 20s, the 25-year branding and design career, getting married, having 2 kids, COVID hitting, and realizing that, once COVID had pretty much made people kind of sit back and like, what do I want to really do with my life? Do I want to be sitting in front of this computer and, in my case, just making banner ads for my entire life? Or do I want to take everything that not only that I've accumulated, being comic books and toys and figurines and stuff, or do I want to take all of that stuff that's just taken up so much space, use everything that I've learned in my whole 25 years career of building web platforms, designing brands, and everything in between, and just kind of throw it all together, learn how to build a business, learn how to make an LLC, and then just start moving towards something else. Luckily, we're in an age where you can build a business online for incredibly cheap, especially if you know how to, build everything yourself. But, for me, it was trying to find a transition from the necessity of having to have this career in order to feed my children and survive, to moving it into a world where my wife and I can create a new business in a new city. We lived out in Arizona for 45 years and decided one day, well, let's not live here anymore. And my wife has family in Ohio. We just dropped everything and moved out to Mansfield. And after discovering that this was literally the place that we wanted to plant our roots and give our children an opportunity to grow in, well, now why not just take every idea that we've had and try to, merge it into a business? This little spot called Mansfield, Ohio. It's where the Shawshank Redemption was filmed. And so there's a lot of history to this little town that I've never heard of. And also, there's no comic book shop. So there's also like not other things to do, like there's no valet service. All these things that we have on the West Coast that you just take for granted. Now they don't have all this over here. So there's kind of opportunities for people who want to build things and, want to create new things. And especially in my case, wanting to create an atmosphere, a therapeutic comic book shop where it's not just a comic book shop, but it's a coffee shop too. It's got the ambiance of everything. In a little up and coming town that's really putting a lot of effort into bringing up the downtown area and investing in to help build up these small businesses, to come out to a town that's actively trying to make that happen. That only enhances the drive to make it happen.
Yeah. So when I lived in LA and then made the move to a small town, I don't know if I shared this with you, but I used to live in LA. I spent like a good decade there, and it got to the point, this was also during COVID, where my husband and I were like, okay, let's move, let's be closer to family, let's switch things up a little bit. And it was a huge culture shock to go from big city to smaller suburb. And I remember being so worried about how that was going to translate for my business, because at that point I had already had my freelance career established, and I'd made, what was it, like 90% of my clients out in LA. And then the rest of them were either international or across the US. But I say all this to say, because I was so worried about how that was going to translate. I remember having a conversation with my life coach at the time, amazing, amazing man named Andrew De La Roca. He was pivotal in helping me change my mindset, because I was living in fear and worry and, stuck in that place. And he's like, Kaila, you have so much to offer. Bring your fruits to this new place. And I say that because that's what I'm hearing from you. You made a major, a cross-country move from Arizona to Mansfield, Ohio. You moved from this place that feels like it's poppin', it's energetic, to a place where it's up and coming, and they're looking to revamp themselves. So I can only imagine what was going through your head at the time. Like, did you experience any sort of fear, worry, doubt, or were you more in like a transitional, like ready to move forward in a new place?
Well, I was ready to move forward, but I think I live in this constant state of existential fear and stress. So that was really nothing different. But I mean, coming from Phoenix, where there's 7 billion people, to a town that's I'm not exactly sure how many people are here, but it's definitely smaller than Phoenix.
Yeah.
In the West Coast, people engage each other, whether for the good or for the bad. But people do talk, and things kind of move out there in the West Coast. In the Midwest, it's much different. It's more slow paced. There are great things about a small city. There are difficult things about a small city. In the
Hmm.
same way, a big city. In a small city, it can be a little more difficult to break into people's vision, and
Hmm.
break into people's ability to consider you.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, we've been here for about 3 years. There've been some pitfalls, but we have certainly maintained a steady fire
Yeah.
and unbreakable will to contribute to this huge thing that's happening in Mansfield,
Yeah.
to fill voids where things don't exist. In Phoenix, and I know how it is in LA, it is a culinary adventure.
Oh my
Your
gosh.
your stomach has no ending of the amazing things that you can stuff it with, right?
Yes.
It's LA, and I'll put Phoenix up against New York or LA or any of that. Like, we've got amazing food out there. Just any type of taste that you want, there's something to capture that. The
Mhm.
mid a little different.
Yeah.
It's a little there's a lot of fast food places, but it's really hard to find like a good Italian food place. There are people all over the world who come into this little city, and what we're trying to do out here is to bring their knowledge into this little city, that there is genuine passion, not just from citizens, but from city council members and from the mayor herself, putting a lot of effort into building this place into something that could be recognized. And coming from Phoenix, I see so much potential. So right now we're Kiki and I are in year 3, really still trying to get our bearings, find our ground. Things are definitely looking up. With Blackwater Market Comics, we're popping up shops around Mansfield and really trying to get out there in front of people.
Cool.
But the grand vision is, yeah, that brick and mortar shop, a place where we can, I would say, vomit our style all over this cool comic book and coffee shop. Branding is a big thing for us. So color and atmosphere is really important. We've got this grand vision. And the more and more people that we talk to out here in Mansfield or Ontario or Ashland, there really is a lot of drive for wanting new things out here. And we're just doing everything that we can to move that forward.
Yeah, it sounds like part of your passion is coming from within. You've got this drive that is fueling itself, and also you are echoing the enthusiasm of the town itself. Sounds like the mayor is doing all that she can, and the community is doing all that they can to help build this place up into something vibrant and even more exciting. So I can imagine this two-part system for you where that is what is keeping the ball rolling. Would you say that that's about accurate, or is there anything else that is also driving you in this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not just that, but we have the benefit of seeing things from a completely different point of view. It's the mayor, the city councilman, the citizens, they see the great things happening in Mansfield, but they lived in Mansfield their whole lives.
Mhm.
We're coming from an area that has completely different things. So for us, it's a much more primal fire because this is new. And now we're here after 45 years of really trying to do everything that we can in Phoenix. Uh, Arizona is dead last in child education,
Mm,
and really shown in the last couple years that our children have been in the public schools out here. The first year was really tough for them. They were, no fault of their own, they were a grade level behind. But after a year of the great public schools out here in Mansfield,
yeah.
doing everything that they can to teach these kids with all of the cuts and everything that's going on, my children have benefited for at least the past 2 years.
Oh,
And so there's so much going on out here that we have not had in Phoenix, that we're ready to put everything we can into helping contribute to making this city better. Even if that means like on a Saturday going to pick up trash. Um, you know, we know that the more people contribute to positive things, the more positive things happen, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's been proven time and time again. And it's our duty to encourage people to be positive and encourage people to put others' needs before their own, and to, just say, okay, I'm going to try this. Or in my case, I get uh, really judgmental on myself at times, and I'm very hard on myself. I don't necessarily, as a designer, you kind of at times have to put aside your own desires. If I'm working on a logo for a client and I understand this client's message and I understand this client brand and I understand how they're trying to translate that brand into a visual identity.
Yeah.
Uh, Sometimes I have to take my ideas and put them aside, in order
Hmm.
to,
Yeah.
the client's broad vision of everything. But at the same time, sometimes the client doesn't necessarily know what they're talking about. Even in their own business, maybe they have, sometimes clients have rose tinted glasses and don't see the broad aspect. So for me, at times, I'm able to put aside the things that I like and the things that I want to see out of, a brand or something or a project
Yeah.
in order to see things through the client's eyes or in order to see the broad message, as a whole. And at times, my designs and my ideas work for that, but at times, my ideas don't work for that.
I can see a crossover between how, as a designer, you're focused on your client's vision and helping to build that up to what it could be, fulfill that potential of that brand, while also g- allowing space for you to be able to infuse your input and your ideas too as a design professional. And I can see how that translates into business on a bigger, broader scale, and even parenting on a bigger, broader scale. Like, we can only benefit from listening to our children and what they have to share, because they are humans too and they have their own perspectives, and listening to our customers and our clients and what they have to say about things. So, I could picture the future of BWM. Somebody walks in and has some feedback. I'm sure the shop is going to be dope. I can already picture it. Like, I'm picturing a really casual, we got some hip hop going on. Like, what? I don't know. I've got a really cool vision of what your shop could be. I'm sure you've got
Yeah.
visions too.
Well,
Yeah.
well, for a brick and mortar shop, it would, for what we're doing, it has to be a coffee shop
Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You walk
Yeah.
in, you've got the smell and the ambiance of a coffee shop. We love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We're from the West kind of cowboys, so we kind of like that wood,
Ooh.
that cap feel.
Ooh.
But then uh our accent brands, our branding colors, our accents are magenta and lime green. So you kind of put that up against not just the wood atmosphere and the wood ambiance, but these beautiful pieces of comic book artwork, the comic books themselves that aren't just a trove of amazing stories, fantastic and just absurd, crazy stories, but the artwork itself, contributing to the look and feel, the ambiance of that place. There's there's a therapeutic entity to a comic book shop. The comic book collectors, they don't just go into a comic book shop to buy comics. It's not just about buying comics. When you cross that threshold, reality ends. Both libraries and comic book shops have that unique ability that truly, when you cross over that threshold, nothing outside of that door matters.
Yeah.
If you mix that, Kiki and I know how to relay that message by connecting with people, right? If you have that as the background while you're trying to connect with people, while you're making them, their one true drink, that coffee drink, that the coffee drink is unique to anybody. Whether it's, loaded with 16 different,
Syrups
you know,
or
kind of syrups or sugars, or whether it's just straight black,
yeah.
that that feeling that people get when they sit down with a hot drink, the world is behind them, and they finally have some ability and some time to sit down and read, right?
Yeah. Ooh.
We're putting it in under that umbrella of comic books, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what we love. That's what we know. And in my case, that's what got me reading.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so zen, and it sounds like a really nice getaway from reality, which we could all use some getaways and some time to decompress.
And you know who deserves you know who deserves it? Mansfield deserves it.
Yes.
Mansfield deserves it because they don't have it. There are
Yeah.
places where you can buy comic books, which I give all respect to those places, but they're not comic book shops. They're not that therapeutic shop. And so what we wanna do with a comic book shop, with Blackwater Market Comics and Coffee, is say, "Okay, well, we've known what comic book shops have been for our whole lives. So, what is the next level of the comic book shop?" There are businesses out there that are comic book and coffee shops. I think if anything, COVID taught us, rather than the fact that we are incredibly able to manage our own selves and manage our own time without somebody looking over us and saying, "Oh, you need to be in that seat 8
Mhm.
hours." It doesn't exist anymore. We've proven our ability to succeed beyond our wildest dreams just sitting in front of this machine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm the most powerful person in front of this machine.
Yes.
You are the most powerful person in front of this machine.
Yeah.
You don't have to wake up at 7, get on the road to get it in a seat at 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
And there's opportunities for that, but Mansfield, we have an ability to create something new for the people out here. It's baby steps, and we're a year in now, and so we're just making small steps and moving forward, and things are really picking up, and things are looking good.
I love it. And now, a quick message from our sponsor. Looking to take your brand, team, or event to the next level with custom gear that stands out? Virtue Screen Printing is your go-to one-stop shop for high-quality custom apparel and accessories. Whether you're launching a clothing line, gearing up your staff, or repping your squad, Virtue brings your vision to life with custom hats, shirts, hoodies, socks, beanies, and more. We're not talking cookie cutter merch. This is premium, fully customizable gear made with care and attention to detail. What makes Virtue different? It's simple. Low minimums, fast turnaround, hands-on customer service, and a passion for helping brands look good. From bold designs to subtle branding, they do it all, and they do it right. Visit virtuemfg.com to get started, or hit them up directly for a custom quote. That's virtuemfg.com, where vision meets craftsmanship. virtuemfg.com. Thank you for staying with us, and back to the show. You mentioned earlier that there are paywalls. What type of paywalls have you run into, and what are some paywalls that someone who's starting a business should expect?
The big paywall right now is finding funding to clean out a retail shop to then purchase, supplies. And I mean, there are paywalls everywhere I'm looking. The ideas don't stop bouncing until they hit that paywall. So, we're from the DIY community in the punk rock and goth scenes in Arizona. And so we know that you got to do the hard work. The marketing funding all goes towards stickers, right?
Yeah.
And giving away stickers and getting that brand in front of people, because it's that grassroots effort that you play in the long game,
Yeah.
that builds the community in the end.
Yeah.
And we're not looking to just make a comic book shop. That's not what this is about. This is about building someplace for a community that doesn't have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not right that me as a comic book, lover, I don't want to have to travel like an hour just to go to a comic book shop on Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So
Right. Right.
I feel for the community that I've joined in with that, wants to build up their city, and I want to contribute to. We want to.
It's so beautiful and symbiotic because you're not going into a place saying, "Okay, I'm gonna change this whole place up and shake it. Let's just completely renovate it and scrap all of its history and all of what makes it the place that it is today." And
No.
instead, you're honoring it. That's
Well,
beautiful.
I have this weird insistence that I'm going to be the one human being in America's history to build a bridge between Phoenix, Arizona and Mansfield. I just feel that there's so much from those two random communities that are so far apart. Being involved in the music community in Phoenix, it's easy to get excited because there's just so much awesome stuff going on. Just for your listeners out there, if y'all like local music or if you are interested in just having crazy fun times at a local music show or any kind of music event, go to Phoenix. Go to Phoenix, go to Tempe, go to Tucson. It's still the Wild West, and the music shows out there are still just off the wall. Whether
Oh,
it's metal, punk, anything, jazz. There's really blues. There's just great music out there. So that's my
oh,
that's my commercial for Arizona's amazing music community. But I've lived in that,
yeah,
and Mansfield has a music community itself. And so I see these things from these two different areas that I know could work together in this the skate scene in
yeah,
Phoenix is
yeah,
nearly equivalent to this skate scene in Ohio or in
yeah.
Mansfield.
Oh, cool.
So I want to be this person that champions bringing people to Ohio and Ohio bringing people to Arizona, just because I see so much that is common between those two states that could really benefit from each other, trying
Yeah,
new things.
yeah,
But anyway,
yeah.
that's one of
That's so
weird.
rad. Earlier, you mentioned grassroots marketing, and I think that there is a lot to be said, especially for the bootstrapping business owner who doesn't necessarily have the funding and who is going about things in a more DIY fashion. Guerrilla marketing can be extremely powerful. I'll never forget this one instance that I had with an artist. My husband and I were at some show, I forget what it was, but he walks over to us and he pulls out a bunch of stickers from his pocket. And he doesn't say anything. He's just looking at his stickers, but he's in front of us, so he's commanding our attention. And we're like, okay, what's this guy up to?
Is this passive aggressive or is this here?
Should
This
I
guy
be worried? I'm a little scared, but I'm also intrigued, so I'm gonna stick around. So
in his eyes.
right. So he pulls out a sticker, and it's about the size. It's a little bit bigger than his palm, and he hands it to us. It's a circular sticker. Okay, cool. One of us, the husband and I, we take the sticker. Then he reaches back into his pocket. Again, doesn't say anything, doesn't make eye contact, doesn't doesn't prompt anything. And he pulls out another sticker. And this one is slightly smaller than his palm. And he does this, I kid you not, 10 more times until the final sticker is the size of a pinky nail. And they're all the same sticker. It just
He's
scaled all the way
stacking
down.
the
Yeah. And it's brilliant because it took our attention in a way that, if you were to buy a big billboard in Times Square, I mean, that could get lost in the sauce. But the way that he commanded us with these 10 scaled down stickers, I mean, that is so creative.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Did he say anything to you, or did he just leave these in your hand and then walk away?
That's it. He just left them in our hands and walked away.
So here's the next question. Did you visit the website on the sticker, or did you engage in that business
Absolutely.
afterwards?
Of course. Of course we
It-
did. It was fascinating
There it is.
because on the back he had a QR code. That's all he had to do. That's all he had to do.
You know what I do with all of my stickers? I tag the back of it with
Brilliant.
the website,
Brilliant.
and the social media. So there is a value to these unique personal connections that you make with people, whether it's like stacking a bunch of stickers on top of each other,
Yeah.
There is mastery in authenticity, right? Because, like you just said, I'm not this guy moving into a new town just trying to like start a business and make money, make quick money.
Yeah.
You know what? The one thing that we lack these days as Americans and as humans, there's so little authenticity, and people want nothing more than authenticity. I mean, I'm a movie buff, and like this has been some of the most depressing years, for movies ever. The rehashing of old stories, and not necessarily that that's a bad thing, but I mean, where's the authenticity gone? Where's the
Right.
authenticity gone in
Right.
the things that we buy?
Yeah.
The people who lead.
Yeah.
There isn't there just doesn't seem to be an authenticity. So when you come across that in small doses, it makes a huge impact. And I'll give you an example. I don't know anything about business. I'm I had a bunch of comic books. I
Yeah.
love coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought, okay, well, let's make an LLC. So I got on my computer, and thankfully we live in an era where doing research to try to figure out how to make a business is right there. It's right,
Mhm.
you know?
Preach that to the people in the back. If I don't know is not an excuse in this day and
Yeah,
age.
no, no,
There
no.
is no I
Listen,
don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. And I did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know anything about business. I remember thinking, okay, well, like I want to make this legitimate because I have to pay taxes, and like I want to make this legitimate. I want to make a business that, maybe someday we can build up and hand over to the kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
and build them street cred along the way. Oh, your dad owns a
Oh, you're that? Your dad is that
Oh,
guy?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you get that brand in front of people, you get that logo, that solid logo in front of people, and then they start seeing it. They start
Mhm.
seeing it. They start
Mhm.
thinking of it, right? But, there's a there's an ability for authenticity to make its way into this sea of inauthenticity. And
I believe that.
it just takes a little effort. It just
Yeah.
takes a little effort.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start a business, comics and coffee. Okay, we'll learn how to build an LLC. Okay, well, done and done. Okay,
Yeah.
so now those we're done. So now, okay, well, let's build a website. Okay, done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's launch this business. Okay, well, it's been a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, baby steps actually work, you know?
Mhm.
And I know it's hard to get focused with all of these things that are involved with building a business and making things happen. But if you can make a list of just, the important list and the secondary list,
Yes.
go through each one of those one by one. Well,
Yes.
okay, that one's done. Okay, check that off. Check
Yeah.
that off.
Yeah.
We don't want to do that one, so let's go down to this one. There's so many opportunities in the day, so many moments in the day to just do little things to help improve your business, to help improve your overall life.
Mhm.
And it's a matter of just breaking through I don't want to do that, or breaking,
Mhm. Yeah.
the self inauthenticity, right?
Mhm.
The inauthenticity to self.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
get and
It's
we get caught up in that in the social networks. They hurt that. The more we spend time on these social networks, not engaging in positive things, not engaging in our dreams, it's there for us to just grab. And I think we forget that sometimes because we're so bombarded with inauthenticity.
ooh, there's so much to unpack there. I feel like social media is the new keeping up with the Joneses. Now, instead of looking over at everybody else's well manicured lawns and saying, "Why don't I have that? Why don't I paint my house? And why, whatever, whatever. Why can't I have XYZ?" Now, all we do is doom scroll and look at our own lives as if our own lives aren't worth anything. When in reality, all we have to do is put the phone down and focus on what you call the baby steps, which is brilliant. That's all we have to do, one step at a time.
I don't know what it's like for you, but like I was born in 77. So like I've had, the Gen X generation. We've had so much experience. We're analog, we're
Yeah.
digital,
Yeah.
research in the library, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've been on the internet since its inception.
Yeah.
And we've been conditioned into this constant state of work. This consistent, we have to be working. Between Kiki and I right now, we have, I believe, 7 jobs between us.
Whoa. Wow.
And, we're still struggling. We're
Yeah.
still trying to really find our bearings. And that story resonates with every American out there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, working tirelessly to make ends meet. But I feel like Gen X has been worked into an area in our minds, and I don't know what it's like for other people, but for me, I enjoy doing things. I enjoy building things. I'm a graphic designer, I'm a web designer. I enjoy making things,
Yeah.
making digital things, making print things.
Yeah.
Um, but when I'm not doing something, when I'm not shoving a project into, the emptiness, I feel worthless. Like, I
Hmm.
feel like, and it's, I know it's
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I feel like if I'm just sitting down and like watching a movie with my kid, I feel like I should be doing something, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or if I'm,
Yep.
you know, doing laundry, like, or watching a movie, I feel like, oh, I should be doing laundry at the same time?
Yeah.
And it's like, no matter how fulfilled I make myself with creating things and doing things, whether it's freelance projects or whether it's, you know, building things for BWM Comics, there's this innate sense of like, you're not doing enough.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
but it's there. And I feel like and I feel like it's there for a lot of Gen Xers.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. And I could so I'm millennial, so I was taught how to use computers from early elementary school, but we were also still analog, talking on the phone, getting wrapped up in those long spirally cords that were always getting tangled, and that was our childhood. So and then I remember like the introduction of MySpace being the big thing in high school, like that's what we were all on. That's how we all socialized when we weren't together in person, which we were together in person a lot too. So it was definitely that balance, but I'll say that productivity bug has definitely bit me as well. I also struggle with my identity and my self-worth being tied up in that. And it's hard to differentiate for me at what point am I self-deprecating by not working or thinking that I should be working right now versus like am I actually enjoying the task? For example, my maternity leave totally self-funded. So I fully planned on 3 months postpartum recovery and no work. I had a team set up to help me with certain tasks and keep the business running. But after month 2, my mental health started to take a hit. And I had to get back at my desk because that's where I felt alive. That's where my identity was. And, for better or for worse, I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I will say that getting back to my desk helped me reflourish as a mother and help find myself again because that identity shift is real. Becoming a parent is a life altering event. It is something that people don't people mention it, but I feel like it's taken too lightly. How was it for you and Kiki when you became parents? Did you face major identity shifts or was it just like, oh, okay, we got kids now?
Yeah, I think for us, we were ready. Kiki and I we got all of our partying out in our 20s, and we didn't actually meet until our 30s. Well, late 20s. But again, we made sure that all the partying was out of the way. So by the time that we were ready to have kids, we were ready to have kids. We were
Yeah.
already a year into our marriage. And so we had taken our path of life, and we had enjoyed ourselves so much growing up in Phoenix, that when it was time for kids, that we were all set and ready for that. Um, I think the reality of it is a totally different story, because yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't want to put a divide between those who have kids and those who don't, but I mean, you understand what it's like not having kids, but only parents know what it's like having kids. And
Well put. Yeah.
I've heard people explain having kids it's like having your heart just walking around outside out of your chest. And
Yeah.
you're still alive because your heart's there
Yeah.
pumping, it's
Yeah.
there growing, and your heart's there doing things, but your heart's not here anymore. It's like out there. Now you've got to watch out because
Yeah.
you got that heart safe.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different mindset. What's important to you, all of a sudden it's like, I don't want to go to shows anymore. I don't want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
go out to the bar until 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's a totally different mindset. But then, you know, COVID changed everything. And now we're professionals, trying to thrive our work and make money for our family, but now you're a professional and you're a daycare.
Mm-hmm.
And so now your 9 to 5 is not just you doing all of the things that you need to do throughout your day. Now you're also taking care of your children, because you can't afford to have anybody else take care of them. In some cases, I don't trust anybody else to take care of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Future historians will have a really interesting job breaking down what it was like living as a Gen Xer, as a millennial, uh, while our parents had all that they had to deal with raising their families. I think the boomer generation doesn't understand completely all of the new experiences that these younger generations, and I'm talking like Gen X and everything afterwards.
Mm.
Everybody who was an adult from Gen X on had a completely different living, family, professional life experience
Yeah.
than anything before.
Yep.
Um, not discrediting any
No.
generations, anything
No.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
his but history in the future will really have an interesting time deciphering, not just the physical duties that parents had to do during this time, but the emotional toll and the financial toll, and just living in a world where at times you feel like, why are all of my problems outside of my ability to deal
Yeah.
with it? Like,
Yeah.
family life is great, like we live in love, and happiness, but it's like, why can't I make the bills? We have 7 jobs between us and we can't make the bills. It's like,
It's the weirdest dichotomy of like the outside world is exploding, but my inside, what's happening in between our four walls here at home. It's chill. It's love. Like granted, raising kids is challenging, right? But it's
sure. But
there's
history has proven that. I don't That'll never
right.
That's just, if you're going to be a parent, buckle up, because this ride is not going to be easy.
It is not for the weak.
That's never changed over time.
No, no, but yeah, like you mentioned, like there are new challenges that the parents of today do have to seriously address and think about. One of them is the cost of childcare and how that's playing out. I'll say in 49 states, because it sounds like New Mexico has their stuff together and they are covering the cost of childcare and I believe higher education. Right. Huge. And they've actually noticed the poverty line. Um, they've noticed that the number of people living in poverty has lessened since then. Covering the cost of childcare, covering the cost of higher ed is actually helping their society. Surprise. Newsflash. That
Right. Yeah.
helps.
I think that, but that's been proven that actually helping people increases people's will to live and like ability to survive.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a,
Despite, despite what the narrative is on the social world, I mean, everybody knows that helping others is what helps society,
yeah.
and not
Yeah.
just leaving people to just, oh,
Live
pull
in the,
yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, that's what everybody does. Everybody pulls themselves up by their bootstraps.
yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes people need help, and I hope that we can get back to a place that remembers that and understands that there is a world online, and there's the Facebook world, right? There's the Instagram world and the social media world. That's not reality. That's not real. That's just
Yeah.
there's plans there. And I think the more we can focus on our small families, and our small communities, and
Yeah.
most definitely the small businesses.
Yeah. You know what's helped before I became a mom, they, as in, doctors and the care team helping me through pregnancy, they constantly said, "Hey, do you have a village? Do you have people who are going to help you postpartum?" And I wasn't really sure how to digest that because we had just moved back. My husband and I are very independent human beings. We tend to be the ones to take care of others instead of receiving and asking for help. And so the concept of getting help postpartum was just like this airy fairy, yeah, sure, whatever. We'll see if people come through for us, A little grim, but that's just how we digested that. And over time, after becoming a mother, I realized that, oh wow, that advice of having a village, creating your village is sage. It has completely changed the game for me. I have friends who I can call up and vent to. I have friends I can text and just check in on, and they check in on me, and we all have each other's backs. This is something that I wish was more widely talked about, which is the concept of creating our own village. Instead of just hoping that people will come and save us, we can actually actively go out and check in on people and create those relationships. Have you ever been in the middle of a hike, trail run, bike ride, fishing trip, or other sport, but found yourself in pain due to blisters, sore joints, or cold toes and fingers? It's frustrating to have to head back inside when all you want to do is be outside. Dry Mile is built for those who don't want to let the weather or terrain slow them down. Dry Mile's high-performance socks and gloves are engineered for adventurers who demand comfort, durability, and protection in every step and stride. Whether you're traversing rain-soaked trails, tackling your next outdoor challenge, or find yourself in unpredictable conditions, Dry Mile keeps you dry and moving. With moisture-wicking technology, breathable materials, and a rugged design, their gear is built to endure the elements. Don't let discomfort hold you back. Visit drymile.com and get 10% off your order today with coupon code BUB. That's B-U-B. Get out, stay dry, and keep exploring. Dry Mile's got you covered. You had to move from Arizona to Ohio, and I can imagine there was a shift in your village. Like, what did that look like for you guys?
We were the village.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we didn't know anybody. We didn't know
Yeah.
anybody out there. It
Yeah.
was it was we knew that there was a better, greener pastures out there for our kids, metaphorically and physically, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we're in Ohio, and it's just this beautiful green land, you know, kind of excessive green in some cases. I mean, we came out here not knowing anybody. Luckily, we're engaging type of people. So, and also it's nice having a business behind you too, because you're not just like some some D bag just coming out here being like, I need some friends, you know. You've got a legitimate business, and we're Micah and Kiki out here from Arizona, these weird alien people who just decided to come out to Mansfield of all places. And people don't understand. Well, the first thing you say, well, why did you come to Mansfield?
Yeah.
And we have to remind them because your city's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because you have a million things to do out here that I and my family cannot do in Phoenix. So finding a new support zone has been support units, just it's been really difficult,
Yeah.
but we're friendly people, so it's easy for us to make friends. We've made some great friends out here so far. We like dinner parties, we love karaoke, so we kind of tend to bring a party with us, even just spending time with people.
Yeah.
So that's made it real easy, but we're lucky because we're outgoing people.
Mm-hmm.
If I put my geek hat on, I'm not getting out too much, I had to break out of my comfort zone after working from home since COVID. And then now we're moving into this new city, and now we need to get out and meet people, and it's easy for us, but and sometimes it's a little scary, especially in
Yeah.
a new area.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think there's something to learn there. It's the breaking out of the comfort zone. It's the understanding that, hey, people aren't going to come to us. The community is not going to come to us. We have to go out into the community in order to engage with them and also see them for who they are and like embracing their essence instead of just throwing our ideas onto them. So it's getting to know them.
Right. And the reality is that you have to get out there, and you have to engage with people, and you have to meet people, and you have to let people see who you are, or else nothing's going to get done. Nobody's going to come to you. One thing that is really weird in this post COVID world, working remotely, that now remote work is just all over the place. So trying to find remote jobs is nearly impossible.
Interesting.
For example, I was recently taken down to part-time at my full-time job that I've been out for 8 years, which is just devastating. But, you know, what can you do other than start looking for jobs, right?
Right.
I don't know if you've looked for jobs in the last couple of years, but it's a completely different dynamic, and it's a whole different world. I myself have 25 years of branding experience. My resume, my portfolio, it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
But when trying to find a remote job, you don't have the ability to get in front of people. And
Right.
and you can spend an entire day filling out an application or meeting the criteria of what any given job wants you to do. In some cases, it's filming a video of yourself, all of these hoops that you have to jump through. Nothing is guaranteed. I myself tried applying for over 230 remote jobs, and not one
Ouch.
got any kind of response. And even to make things worse, the responses that I did get were scams, were people out there actively hunting people looking for jobs. So I don't know. I don't even know what to do in this era. But what I'm getting at is that the opportunities that I have landed have only been locally, have only been from me getting in front of people, meeting people. I could sit at my desk for 3 months and just send out application after application after application after application. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying you shouldn't do that, because, I mean, if you're looking for a job, you gotta do anything you can. And even if it means sending out 200, 300 resumes, but you gotta look locally, and you gotta get in front of people.
It's like that old adage, like, it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? There's still a very massive value in networking. So that's what
And
we have to do, we just gotta get out.
we got to get out. And for me and Kiki coming into a completely new town, a new city that has its own small town pitfalls, that's been probably one of the most difficult things I've done in my moving into a new town, already having a career, and then something happening and then having to find something else. It's been tremendously difficult, but the only thing that's shown any promise is actually getting out there in front of people. For me, being a designer who works in front of the computer all the time and doesn't get out too much as
Mhm.
I'd like I had to force myself. I really had to just say, just shut up, get your hair cut, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
a nice outfit and go talk to people and go sell yourself. Because ultimately, your resume and your portfolio can only say so much.
Mhm.
You know, I think it's really important that when you're going out there and looking for jobs, that you're selling yourself. You're really selling not just your skill set, but what's more important is your work ethic and your
Mhm.
ability to have a drive.
Mm.
I know it's not an easy thing, but man, you have to do that. You have to do that. I'm really curious what it's like for some of your listeners out there who have gone through some hard times with careers. In past 5 years, it's just been a rough time. Like in my
Right.
case, like, okay, well, let's just take comic books and mix it with some coffee and, build a website and try to make things happen.
Right, right.
And I'm
It's
so
the
glad.
art of Yeah, I'm glad you did that too. It's the art of the pivot, right? When we come up against something that is apparently a dead end, what do we do? Do we just lay down and end our career and that's it, or do we say, okay, well, what can I still do with the skill sets that I have, and what skill sets can I add on to that? And also, who do I know? Who's in my network? It's during those moments where it's time to start thinking out of the box and thinking creatively. What can I do with the resources that I have? And then how can I obtain more resources?
Right, but more importantly, pushing yourself out of that box. It's hard
Yeah.
to get out of.
It is. It is. It's super easy to get stuck in a rut. And I think that's where my curiosity was coming from in the very beginning, where I was asking, like, what's fueling you? Because it's not easy to get out of a rut. It's not easy to try something new. And when we have something that is fueling us, whether it's a passion to move towards something or something is drawing us in because it's so exciting, latch onto that. It's totally okay to just lean into that, ride the
Well, yeah, and
wave,
explore it. Explore it. I
explore
mean,
it.
'cause, there's a starting point, right?
Yes.
There's a starting point that starts with one thought, but the more you get into that, and then ultimately, where does that go? It's doing those little tasks, what I was talking about. It's like, just get that thing done, get that thing done, skip over that, go to that other thing. You got to stay motivated and you got to stay focused on what it is that you want to do. And I mean, there's no guarantee. I have no guarantee that I'm going to build this business into the monumental, universe shattering comic book shop that I see in my head. But I know that it's not going to happen if I don't do these things. You know, I know it's not going to happen if I don't just try.
Yes. It will 100% fail if you don't even start.
But then there's so many pitfalls. Like, I mean, what's it like for you? Okay, each one of these podcasts is its own universe of a
Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
We've got 15 million things that you have to accomplish with every single podcast. You've got to edit, you've got to promote, you've got to design, you've got to post, you've got to write. You've got to do all of these things every single time you do this.
That's true. That's true.
And you put all of this effort and you put all of this time into all of these things to get 2 likes and
Right. Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the only thing that you can guarantee is that nobody's gonna see you,
Right.
and then nobody's gonna care
Right.
unless you keep at it,
Mm-hmm.
unless you keep doing it.
That's right.
And I mean, nobody will care if you don't do it. And like, I write these blogs and I write these posts, and I always get done with the last post or the last blog, and I think, oh man, this is gonna hit.
This is the one. Yeah.
They're gonna love it. This newsletter, they're gonna love it.
Yeah. 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 You just
2
never know.
views and click, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That cannot deter you from doing the thing. Like, you can't rely on response, right? And you can't rely on advertising,
No. Yeah.
and you can't rely on boosting posts. Like, nothing works. It's true.
Yeah.
Nothing works. The only thing that can work is your drive to make this thing,
Yeah. Yep.
and it's
It's
never gonna happen otherwise.
right.
And you're not
Right.
gonna get the results that you want,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be sad more than you're happy. But are going to feel they're not gonna bring me down, they're not gonna tell me I can't do this, and you will get beat down by not getting the response that you want, and that's eternal, and, like, that's the world we live in this pay-to-play social media thing where you have to buy that blue check mark, or you have to pay for clicks or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think any of that works. The only thing that can potentially work is the fire
Mm,
to do the thing, to take these baby steps towards the thing that you really ultimately want to do. Because like buying the ads, the boosting the ads, like you're not going to get any result from that.
yeah. Yeah.
The more money that you put into social media to get the result that you want in advertising, I mean, I don't know what it's like for other people, but in my experience, spending money on 200 stickers and going out there and like, I'm I'm not saying to put stickers on light posts, but there's a great way to promote yourself out there, and it's
Mm-hmm.
by handing people, a sticker or engaging with people, or in my case, popping up at local markets. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of effort, but it's that effort that gets things done. And you know what? It's that effort that is the authenticity.
1000%.
And people just want authenticity. And if
Mm-hmm.
you can be somebody who emits and puts forth authenticity, then I think you have a better chance in the long run.
Yeah.
I think it's a long game. I can drop a couple $1,000s to create a unique variant cover of a comic book. And I can hire an artist to create this unique variant cover, and it'll cost me a crap ton of money, and I can try to sell it for so much,
Yeah. Yeah.
or I can take that money and, like, rent a dumpster and try to clean out the building that I want to open a brick and mortar shop.
Yeah.
In my view, the long game is what makes things happen. And because people, at least in my case, in a small town, people see what's happening.
Mm,
It's the long game.
yeah. Yeah. No, I can tell you. So I work with small business owners. That's my specialty, whether they have a team of employees or they're solopreneurs, freelancers. That is the gamut of the clientele who I serve. And over almost a decade now, I have noticed two buckets of business owner. And this includes a solopreneur, freelancer, just business owner, right? You have the business owner who is shelling out cash in hopes of the overnight success, the virality, it's the instant success, right? And then you have the business owner who is making, just like you say, those little steps consistently over time. And I see how the curves are different for each of them, right? So if someone starts off really hot, throws a bunch of money at something, which I'm not saying that money is a bad thing. Money can actually be very helpful. Let's be very clear. Money is important. But if when I see the business owner who's just dumping cash into something, hoping it will be the overnight success, usually they fizzle out pretty quickly because they don't really have that consistent work ethic like you had mentioned, versus the person who's taking those steps consistently over time. It feels like their business is going nowhere. It's pretty flat. But then I watch the curve just skyrocket. And all of a sudden they're getting all of these orders and things are just popping off. Things are happening. And I fully believe it's because they've laid that foundation for themselves.
It's the authenticity divide.
Ooh, tell me.
Well, it is. I mean, yeah, you can throw all this money, and you're right. I mean, who's to say what way is right and what way is wrong?
Right,
I mean,
right.
if you've got the money to just throw it, social media and advertise and do whatever, then do it. That's cool. That's great.
Yeah.
If I had that money, I'd be spending it differently. But you also, in my opinion, if you're just the one throwing money at this thing to do the big quick thing, you lack authenticity. Authenticity void there,
Yeah. Yep.
and that curve comes from what people want, what people are
Yes.
really looking for.
Yes.
And I mean, if there is one thing that people want, it is authenticity.
That part.
Because
Yep.
if there is one thing that we are missing,
Mm-hmm.
authenticity.
My head is about to fall off because I'm nodding so hard. Yes, it's true.
From top to bottom. So you as the drive, as the person with the fire who is sick of all of this nonsense, when you just want to create, you want to connect, you're not going to get that in cryptocurrency. You're not going to get that in get rich quick kind of a thing. Now the use of AI. I mean, now I'm seeing commercials of AI telling you how to make money using AI. And like, I mean, if there is a crown of inauthenticity, it's up top the head of AI.
Yeah.
I don't think we're responsible enough to really decipher the good things that can be used with AI, research and understanding. Bad things that can be used with AI, which are pretty much everything that's been shoved down our throat,
Yeah.
And being in the marketing world, well, now the
Mhm.
question is, where does this take us?
Right.
Where are we
Yeah.
going? Where as a web designer, somebody who is coding, now we've got these AI platforms that just make the website and stuff. So we are, I think, at the golden age of inauthenticity.
Yeah. Which gives
There's
us a prime opportunity to
opportunity. That's
show
what I
up.
was just going to say.
Yeah. See?
Yeah,
See?
it's a golden age of
Yep.
inauthenticity,
Yep.
which gives us the unique opportunity at this day and age to create something authentic, to create the thing that you want, that you think is authentic. You, the listener,
Yep.
you, the person who's got this weird thing in their head. We have the tools, we've got the internet, right? And we've got AI to help us organize. Like, let's use AI in a way that is beneficial to us.
Yes.
Let's converse with it.
Yes.
Let's talk ideas with it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I enjoy. I enjoy talking to somebody who's going to engage back, question, some of
Yes.
the things that I say.
Yeah.
There are positive ways to use the tools that we have at our fingertips. There's also a lot of ways to use that in a negative way. We know as a society we are starting to understand the ills of these tools that we have. But we dwell so much on a lot of the negative that we can lose the sight of, okay, well, how do we use this as human beings? You know,
Yeah.
we we can use this tool while not succumbing to this tool.
Yeah.
We can buy an electric vehicle that can help us get to places while not completely resigning to the idea that we don't have to drive anymore.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? To
Right.
sit there like this.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
no, let's
Yeah.
use these tools as what they are, the tools to help us move forward into the world and not just, well, now I can have this thing design a logo for me or write this
Oh
paper or,
God.
you know,
Oh
I
yeah.
think yeah, I think we need to at this early stage, we need to really dig into we are not AI. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We are humans, and we can use AI as a tool and as a resource, but we should not become the tools for the AI. And I
Mm,
worry about that a lot. And I worry about that because we're lazy people. We've lost the idea that we can create the world around us.
yeah. Right, right. We forget that we have the power to create instead of just consume, consume, consume. And that's I think that that is the beauty of today's day and age is that we have that within our reach still. We do still have the power to create. And after having this conversation, it yes, as a business owner, there is an opportunity for you to express yourself as a human in your full authenticity, and that is what's going to help you get ahead alongside your work ethic, your consistency, making sure that you are hitting the grind. You're showing up, you're keeping your promises, you're staying loyal to the people who are good around you, and just keep going. Just keep going. Be
Yeah.
human.
And it's hard to do. It's hard to do that. It's hard to keep going. I mean, when you're not getting the response that you are expecting.
And that's what we have to be aware of in this day and age with the 3-second, Amazon shows up at your
There it
doorstep
is.
today
There
and the instant gratification of scrolling for 3 seconds,
the
which turns
lost sight.
into 3 minutes. Right,
Yeah,
right.
we have to remember that like you don't need instant gratification. Sometimes the hard work takes the hard work,
Yep,
you know?
yep.
And I mean, what's what's like the basic story that you hear from every single small business? The first year you don't make any money, right?
Mhm, mhm,
Second year you barely make anything. Maybe by the third year you're starting to come even, right?
mhm. Yep,
I
yep.
think that I think that is pretty much standard for everything. But the idea is sticking to it,
That
right?
part. Yep.
That's the hard part
Yep.
because that's the only thing that's gonna get you to that goal. That final goal is sticking with it. And you guarantee, I'll tell you this, you are not gonna get the results. You're not gonna get like, people aren't gonna buy your stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, yep.
They're not gonna look at your newsletters.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't care about your social media.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's every beginner's hurdle. If you can get past the part where you're getting no instant gratification, you're really not profiting a whole lot if you're not bleeding money, to start with. Like if you
And
can
there's another thing, like, get used to working with, like, no budget at all.
yeah. Yeah.
Get used to doing things that once you sell something, "Oh, then now I can do this thing."
Yeah.
Or once you do these 2 things, like, "Oh, now I can get 50 stickers."
Yep.
You know? That's
Yep.
just how it goes. And the more that you focus on, I think the more, for me, the more that I have focused on those little things and just kept going, I love comic books. I love talking about comic books. I enjoy designing. So I put all this stuff together in this business because I love doing it and I gotta do it. Someday I gotta get out of this career,
Yeah.
and comic books and coffee is like my answer.
Mansfield is here for it. I am so excited for your local community to get to have you contributing back to it in such a special, unique, and authentic and amazing way. Where can people find you, either in real life, on the interwebs? Where are you, Micah?
Yes. Well, you can find Blackwater Market Comics and Coffee at bwmcomics.com. You can also check us out on the social networks at BWM Comics. And I want to tell you a little bit about BWM Comics. We're a comic and coffee shop. Like, we want to just make an online area for people to come and enjoy, look for comic books. We sell amazing coffee beans from a company in Florida. They're called Comics on Coffee, and they are an amazing small family business. I found them a couple of years ago when I was doing research for starting a business. And I knew I wanted to sell coffee from companies that had a comic book type of ethic, right?
Cool.
Or a unique independent business. And I found this amazing company called Comics on Coffee from Florida. Tanya, who is one of the roasters, her and Tony are the couple who own the business and created the business. She's a comic book artist, and he roasts the coffee.
So
So
cool.
their whole idea was that she would draw these comic covers for the coffee bags, and they would create their own unique roasting flavors for it. But what happened was that Warner Brothers said, this is interesting.
What?
Why don't you make a Batman coffee? We'll just do a dark roast, right? Espresso roast. We'll give you the licensing. And turns out it was amazing. I mean, it turns out it was
What?
really good dark roast, right? So they said, okay, well, now make us a Superman and Wonder Woman.
What?
And so they made a Superman Metropolis mocha, which is a kind of a vanilla mocha flavor. The Wonder Woman coffee, it's coconut pecan. And DC and Warner Brothers said, wow, this is really good. Why don't you make Joker coffee, Green Lantern coffee? Why don't you make Scarecrow, Harley Quinn? Let's do a Poison Ivy. And so they made all of these other coffees. And this was like while we were creating the company.
Oh
Like,
my God.
now you're selling like DC branded coffee.
That's amazing. That is testament to taking an idea and utilizing it authentically.
And that's why I wanted to tell you that, because it's just Tanya and it's just Tony, and they love coffee and they love comics. And they said, let's just make coffee and we'll draw our own stuff. And one way or another, DC Warner Brothers got a wind of it. They ended up making this entire line of delicious coffee, which you can find on bwmcomics.com right now. But it even went further than that. They said, this is so amazing. Now you have to do Lord of the Rings. And so now they have a whole Lord of the Rings tea line.
What?
Yeah. So like if that right there isn't a testament to just sticking with your idea, and they busted their butt doing their own thing. And what it did is that made an opportunity for me in my business to say, okay, I'm selling comic books, but I want like the full package. Someday I want to make my own coffee. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, I have to find a wholesale. I have to
Yeah.
find a
Yeah.
company that merges with my brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have so many others lined up that we want to add to our list, because what we want to do is we want to build a small area of really unique coffee that people can come to BWM Comics, look for comics, but also find this amazing coffee. And right now we're lucky enough to have Comics on Coffee partnering with us. And it's not just like, I thought it was a gimmick.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought it
Yeah.
was a gimmick at first. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Batman coffee right there.
Yeah.
Then I subscribed to their coffee, and I kept trying all these different things. And I'm like, oh my God, this stuff is like
You're like, this is
really,
actually really, really good.
but
Wow.
beyond just selling the comic books and selling the coffee, we are community people.
Yeah.
We want to better the things around us.
Yeah.
So now we have a business. Well, now we have the opportunity to partner with different people, right? Partner with other businesses, partner with maybe in even other businesses in our community. One of those partners is with a nonprofit in Illinois called Comic Books for Kids. And so what they do, the president, his name is Mark Weiss. He's an awesome guy. I mean, he is as altruistic as it gets. He's just he wants to share the love of comic books, and he does everything he can to like get comic books in front of kids. But what he does is he gets like back back stock
Okay.
from comic book shops who donate comic books to him. And what he'll do is he'll take those comic books and give them out to children in hospitals, children who don't get access to reading material or who are just stuck in the hospital all the time. And his LLC donates those comic books to kids. And so here's an LLC that we can completely align with. So every we sell coffee on the website or in one of our pop-up events, we donate to Comic Books for Kids.
Oh.
And so there's all these opportunities to expand your brand and to just make a collective of people creating authenticity.
Yeah, yeah. I see you pushing the boundaries. I see you partnering with amazing partners, and I see how you are in alignment with your customer. I'm so excited for the future of BWM, and thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom with us today. I'm so excited about how I'm going to think about using AI as a positive tool and also just reevaluating my daily and making sure I'm hitting all those little tiny baby steps and not worrying so much about the immediate gratification of things. So thank you
Yes,
so
and
much.
go out there and be your authentic self, and encourage people to be authentic. There's so much opportunity for us to connect as humans, and we need that so much more now.
Thank you for joining us on Bringing Up Business. If you could, please take a moment to subscribe to and rate the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram at bub.podcast. That's BUB.podcast. Finally, we'd love to get your feedback. If you have a comment or a guest idea, please let us know on our website, bringingupbusiness.com. Until next time, thanks for joining us. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Say bye-bye. See you later.
Bye-bye, see you later.
This recording is for informational purposes only and should not be considered business advice. Opinions expressed are as of the date of recording and are subject to change without notice. The views and opinions of guests on this program are not necessarily those of Umari Digital and its affiliates, which together we refer to as Umari Digital. Umari Digital is not affiliated with guests or their business affiliates unless otherwise stated. Umari Digital does not guarantee the accuracy or the completeness of the data presented herein. This recording is for informational purposes only, and the information, data, analysis, or opinion it includes or their use should not be considered business, financial, or legal advice. Umari Digital shall not be responsible for any decisions damages, or other losses resulting from or related to the information, data, analysis, or opinions or their use. All business decisions are subject to risk, including possible loss of capital. Individuals should seriously consider if a decision is suitable for them by referencing their own financial position. Thank you.